thing that I'm doing now with a lemans back here. But I want to show you all this. On a Pontiac, on a Pontiac engine, the starter sits on the driver's side on a Pontiac. On Chevrolets, they sit on the passenger side. As you can see, the battery is still over here in the pass and on the driver's side. I've got a catch can here for the radiator. So the way in which I'm gonna get my high tension wire from the starter over to the battery is right here. I went and bought two 40-inch cables, and so I'm gonna run it from the starter up here to the side here, and then I have a bus bar link. Let me try to find it because I got stuff everywhere today. Oh, come on. Where's this thing? Right here. So I got this bus bar link. I'm gonna mount that bus bar right here. So that way one of the starter wires will come here, and then the other one will go from here. This 150 amp fuse, it will go from here and go clear across over to the battery. And that'll let me have my connection there. Just like that. And won't be any problem. So just want to show you all that. Now, the other thing that I'm working with now is the starter. So I wanted not to run this starter. Is if you're looking for a staggered bolt head starter for a GM, the part number is just 3510. That's what it is. So I bought the bolts and everything, and you can see where this serration here, you can see where it stops it when you put it in there. Stops right about there, right? So what this serration does is it goes into the block, and it locks the bolt. It locks the bolt in, keeps it from moving. Now you can see the difference in the distance when I use the same bolt there. Now don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed, because you can fix that. You can take and get you some flat washers and get enough flat washers. Get enough flat washers on it, and you can have the same protrusion there. You see that distance there? You can stack you some flat washers on there. Or you can go into your regular bolt store and see if you can get bolts that are that length that's serrated, if you can. Now these here are 3 and 5/8 inch bolts, but they are too short, and I'm going to show you that. You see that there? You see how that doesn't even let enough of that serration there to work? So these are too short. These are GMs, but they're too short. Let me take it out and show you. But they're too short. So check out this bolt here. You see how short that bolt is? See, that bolt doesn't give, so it's not going to be able to hold that starter. It's going to make it jump off of there. It'll probably break the bolt. So if you all are working on and converting your vehicle over to a mini starter, I'm pretty sure that you can get online and you could get with Jigs or Summit, and you could probably get the appropriate bolt that is the length that you need, which you'd have to measure. You have to measure from here to right here, to right there at the end here. You have to measure that at the end of this housing. And then that would give you, not here, but here, from the end of the housing to the top of the bolt, like that. You measure that. And then that would give you the right length of bolt, because you got to remember, you may have to use shims on the straight starter. You may have to use shims on the angle starter. You may have to use shims, and so you have to give an account for that. But since I see what it is, because I went and bought a 3510 starter, I can use it on my boat if necessary. My boat uses the same starter. So I can use it on my boat if I need to. But just want to see what the factory situation is. As you can see, it leaves you, you see how much of that serration is out of there? See how much serration out of there? That's probably 316 or something out of there. And then you have the rest of the boat because that way you can put shims on top of it if need be. So that's what's going on with the vehicle as of now. That's what's going on with it. And I also had to buy uh, nipples. Now this is a great kit from Amazon because unless you're going to go buy copper line and copper line and take you a and take and buy copper line and take a flaring tool and make your lines. This is a great line. This is a great kit right here. But this is the thing though. It's only going to come with these two here. It's going to come with this one here, which is okay, and this one here. Well, this here, if you don't know, is for a 4L80. On the older ones, you had to have this extension here to thread into the case because that's what all the rear of the transmission. If you didn't have it, you burned the transmission up. So I needed two more of these here. And this is the part number right here. It's the part number right here. And it's off of Amazon. And it's just a 2-pack of 6AN fittings. You see it. And it's come with copper washers and rubber washers. You're not going to be able to use those rubber washers on the case. They're gonna poke out. So you can use those copper washers and put your little pipe dope on it and send it onto the case. And then that way you can either go angled or you can go straight. And that'll get that done. So just wanted to show you all what's going on because that's that. Oh, one last thing. So the heater valve on this car, it's a vacuum operated valve, meaning the valve is normally closed on this car. When you want heat, you move the selector, you got vacuum that's going to it, it will open that valve. Well, that valve was leaking. That valve's been on there since probably day one. So I was able to get a new valve. And the new valve is right here. This is the new heater valve right here. And this is the part number for 4 Seasons. So if you're working on an older car and it has a normally closed valve on it for the heater core, which is this one right here, you got an inlet and an outlet, and it's normally closed, then this would be your part number here for 4 Seasons. And that will allow, that doesn't let the water flow until the valve is open. But what I did temporarily was put one on here that I had, which is a valve that will allow the water to flow because I want to know if the heater core is bad on the car. So I got the car all full of coolant and everything, and all the lines are purged. I'm just letting it sit here before I start it up and see if that heater core is going to leak. I really won't know until I put pressure on it, but that is what I'm doing as of been doing for about a last week or two now, just doing it like that and letting it just go like that, and that's what I got going on. So it won't be long. This thing will be up and running, but it's just one of those time-consuming deals because gathering parts. You're not able to go to the junkyard anymore and just find these parts. You have to source them out, get them. You may have to do some work to them or whatever to get them to work out. I was able to get a power steering pump with the bracket, and it seems like it's not leaking anything. It's holding up. But this is just some of the stuff that you go through when you're putting these cars together. When you got people that do it every day, like the guys on Pole Barn Garage, Dalton, he's a Pontiac guy, but he does a really good job. You got Bill Season, you got Atomic Motors, atomic air motors. Um, you got this in that garage. You have just a plethora of people that do this for a living, and I don't do it for a living. I'm just doing it uh, for my own personal thing, but I'm just bringing you all along so you all can see, uh, maybe get some ideas of what it takes to put one of these vehicles together. And it's if you got a donor vehicle with everything, man, you got it smoked. You got it smoked if you can get a donor. This car here, I bought it, no motor, no transmission, no drive shaft. So it's been one of those things because down here in Houston, a new drive shaft's about $500. I was able to catch one out of a '86 Fleetwood Cadillac that had the right 27 spline yoke on it, and I had it cut down. I needed to be 54 inches, and so I had it cut down to 54 inches, and they put new U joints in the yoke and in the output shaft of it, and that ran me 200 and about $70. But dry shaft's done. Um, just those little things like that. The incidentals, the radiator was easy to get because I just bought it off of. I put in a 4-core radiator for a GMA body, preferably a lemans or GTO, which is the same one for Chevelle and everything. And this radiator here, I paid $170 for it with the electric fans, but I'm not going to run the electric fans. I'm going to run mechanical. I'm going to run a mechanical fan on it. That's what I'm going to do. So once I get it running and everything, then I'm going to go on and buy the original fan shroud for it because they make one that's for the big block Pontiac. They make one for the small block Pontiac. I'm going to buy the one for the big block because that should give me the space that I need in order to avoid the power steering pump, the alternator, and all that. And no, you can't use the one off the Chevelle because the one on the Chevelle, it bolts up differently here. So I'll have to use the Pontiac one, which is okay. But just showing you all what I've been doing, what's going on. Once I get it running, then I'm gonna get on the brakes. So far, I haven't had no leaks on the brakes, but I'm gonna get on the brakes and check them out and probably replace the rear wheel cylinders and probably replace the rear wheel cylinders in both and the shoes if they need it. But I know I'm gonna replace the rear wheel cylinders, and I'm gonna place that flexible hose that goes from the hard line to the that splits the wheels off. And these here, I'm gonna replace the rubber lines on this because these lines here are about 30 some bucks each. And I'll put that on there because you don't want to finish this vehicle and get it running and then pull out of here and run it to somebody's car. That's somebody's families we're talking about. So, just take your time on your project. Don't be so fast with your project that you're working 100 miles an hour on it and you're not really being safe. If I don't do anything else, I'm gonna make sure the brakes work. I'm gonna make sure that the brakes work on it. How you doing, Miss Brenda Lewis? But make sure the brakes work on it. You don't do nothing else because the back out of here and you get it running, you can't stop it, and you're gonna run into somebody's family. That's really cool right there. So just think about that. But I've done enough talking now. Just wanted to show you all what was going on. I'm gonna get back to working on this thing and try to get done. As always, likes, share, and continue to subscribe. And I know that I haven't been doing a lot of posting because I've been really working. But it won't be long. This thing will be up and running. And you all are still up and running. And I'll bring you all on live to see it because I'm interested to see it running. Oh, one last thing. You all know, if you've been following the channel, you know I'm a big block guy. So guess what I picked up? I picked up yet another 454 from a good friend of mine. He came across it. He wasn't going to use it. He called me up and said, "Hey man, I got a 454 over here if you want it." So I went yesterday and picked it up. We're gonna dive into it because it's supposedly had some work on it. It's got a Edelbrock intake on it, and supposedly the motor has been worked over because it actually belonged to his brother-in-law, and his brother-in-law was gonna put it in a pickup, but he got sick and wasn't able to do it. He had a lot of vehicles he was gonna work on, but he got sick and couldn't do it. So we're gonna go through it, and it's got a truck pan on it. We'll get it off of there and put a car pan on it, and we'll get it, we'll let it crank it up on the stand and see what it does. But I'm gonna cut it off here. Thank you all for watching, Miss Brenda, and everybody else that watch. And just stay tuned and send me some DM. Let me know what you all are working on and how everything going for you all. Thanks for everything. May God continue to bless each and every one of us. And I'll get at you on the next one.